Hey, Dan Beagleman here. One of the most instantly recognizable, iconic guitar riffs from the surf music genre in the 1960s is the Misirlou, as recorded by guitarist Dick Dale and the Dulltones in 1963. The Misirlou is built on a scale that has a very unique quality to it. It's been called the Byzantine Scale, the Flamenco mode, the Gypsy major scale, and it can also be looked at as a major scale with a flat second and a flat sixth degree. I'll show you what I mean. Here's an E major scale. I'll just play it on string 6 only. Right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This E major scale has 4 sharps: F sharp, G sharp, C sharp, and D sharp. As I said, you can look at the scale as a major scale with a flat second and a flat sixth degree. The second tone in the E major scale is F sharp. The sixth tone is C sharp. So if I played what I just played, but instead of playing F sharp and C sharp, I play F natural and C natural. So I'd have E, F natural, G sharp, A, B, C natural, D sharp, and E. And right away you can hear how it sounds quite different than a major scale. You can hear that has that Middle Eastern quality to it. So here again is an E Byzantine scale on string 6. And here's the same scale, E Byzantine scale on string 1. Right away you can hear that really interesting quality to it because the steps are different than other scales. Every scale has a pattern of steps: whole, half, whole, 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 right? So because the distance from one note to the next changes from one scale to another, that is what gives each scale its own unique quality or its own unique sound. Here's an E Byzantine scale played in the open position using all 6 strings. Very interesting sound, right? Now, Dick Dale does not play the melody that way. You can play it that way, right? But he actually plays that melody only on string 6 and then only on string 1, which I'll show you in a moment. Here's an E Byzantine scale in position 12. The reason I'm showing you this is so you can have access to play this scale in any key, because as I just showed you in the open position, you have some open strings. If you wanted to play this scale in a different key, you would need to have another position for it. So here again is E Byzantine scale in position 12. If you wanted to play C Byzantine, just put your first finger on a C note and you'd have, or any key you want, just start on the first finger, on string 6, find your key note, and you're good to go. Now, as I mentioned, Dick Dale plays the melody on string 6. He does not play. Of course, if you did that, it wouldn't sound bad, and it would definitely have the right effect. But to play this correctly, you're going to play this only on string 6. Actually, the first pass of the melody, like we'll call it the first verse if you want it, although it's an instrumental song, it's played on string 6. Then it's repeated the second time 2 octaves higher on string 1. First pass for the Misirlou, or the first melody, is going to be played all on string 6 only. Like that, okay? But what you need to do to really get the right effect for this is use what's called tremolo picking. Tremolo picking is when you're sort of going pretty fast back and forth with your right hand. And if you apply that right hand technique and you just keep that going consistently, while you're changing the notes, you'll have the Misirlou. Okay, so you have your melody on string 6, your right hand is doing that tremolo. Now, if you played it without the tremolo, even on string 6, it would still sound fine. It would be recognizable. Everybody hearing it would say, yeah, man, it's that song. But the tremolo is really, the tremolo picking is what really gives it that character and, of course, makes it sound more authentic. Now, one other thing that Dick Dale does at times, kind of a, random, if you look at the melody, this B note, which is the 5th of the key, it's going to hold that note for 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 2 measures of that one B note. So sometimes he would do what's pretty common in surf music, which is sort of like a, I don't know if there's a true name for that, but it's a tremolo, fast picking on string 6, and just as you're doing that, you're sliding down string 6 randomly, and with a little slight mute, palm mute, which is you take the palm of your right hand and sit it right on top of the bridge where the string is, and instead of hearing the note, you'll hear, right? So now, again, as I said, it's kind of done randomly. And you get that real surf sound. As a matter of fact, if you're familiar with a surf instrumental called Pipeline, that's how it started. You might recognize this. And then, right? Pipeline by a group called the Shantays, very popular surf instrumental from the 60s. So again, you would do that randomly if you want when that B note is held for the 2 measures. And that's how that would go. The second time he does the melody, he does the same thing, but now he does it on string 1, which is 2 octaves higher. And again, of course, Dick Dale flipping the strings around, he's now going to hit, for him, the top string. But here's the same thing done on string 1. Obviously, very Middle Eastern sounding, and just a very cool riff. So those are the 2 head sections. The main melody, which is played twice, again, first on the string 6, then on string 1. The second section of the Misirlou, or the bridge section, if you want to call it that, is kind of in 2 different parts. The first half is played actually in the open position. In this case, you would actually play a G natural and not a G sharp. So it's going to make that change to that Byzantine scale, because he doesn't play chords, or there aren't chords on the recording. When this part comes in, the band lays out, and it's just the guitar by itself, but the chords that are sort of suggested sound like A minor, G, F, E for the first half of that bridge section. And here's without the tremolo picking. Okay, with tremolo picking. Okay, that's the first half of the bridge section. The second half of the bridge section then returns to playing it on just string 1. Here's the melody without tremolo picking. Okay, and here's with tremolo picking. And again, because it's only on string 1 and it does hold that B note for 2 bars, you can also do that slide down on there that I showed you before. Okay, so that's the bridge or the B section of the Misirlou recorded by Dick Dale. And as I said, the fact that the band lays out at that point and it's just guitar by itself, the chords are suggested, and I'll show you the rhythm part or the chords in a moment so you can have that part as well. Okay, so to play the Misirlou, you play the head melody or the A section on string 6, then you play it on string 1, then you play this bridge melody in 2 parts. Now, regarding the rhythm guitar part, for the main melody, the what I call the head section, it's just 2 chords, E and F. And then for the bridge, it's going to use 4 chords, A minor, G, F, and E. Now to play this correctly, to get the right feel for the tune, it's a matter of playing it with the right rhythmic element to it. So for the rhythm guitar part, the way you want to play it is hitting the chords on beats 2 and beat 4. That's all. So you're hitting 3 times in each measure, like 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 4, 1. And if you apply that to the chords, and I have the sheet, you'll see in a moment. So for the main section, the main head section, it does that E chord with that rhythm for 8 bars, and then the second half of the head section goes from F to E, 2 bars each. And then the bridge section, as I mentioned, there is no rhythm guitar on the bridge section, but these chords are kind of like, suggested because they'll follow the melody. A minor, G, F, E. 1. G. F. E. Then it returns for the second half of the bridge to the F, E. It's 2 bars each. Now, to get the best result, in other words, to try to sound as close as you can to the recording, if you have a Fender Stratocaster guitar like this, use it. If you don't, any electric guitar, but use the bridge pickup. That's this one here, the closest to the bridge, obviously. And you'll want to use a lot of reverb and no distortion. That's how you'll get closest to the sound of the surf guitars from those great recordings in the early 1960s. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any questions or comments in the comments section below. I'm Dan Beagleman, and that's the Misirlou, as recorded by Dick Dale in the Deltones in 1963. Have a nice day.